Good morning from Hiroshima. I can't believe that I get to wake up to another amazing view like this. However, I will be checking out of my room in just a few minutes. Now I'm walking over to the Hiroshima Airport bus, which is going to take me to the airport, and it's about an hour bus ride away. I just made it to the airport and we are going to be checking in shortly with Japan Airlines. We are going to be flying economy class today. I just stopped by the store to get some local goodies. In Japan, their culture is big on giving treats back to their friends and family when they go on vacation or go somewhere. So I got a whole bunch of different lemon treats in this basket and I'm going to get even more. I even found some dog treats that I'm going to bring back for my dog. Before we head through security, I thought we'd take a quick look at the observation deck. And who knows, that might be our plane right there. As I was only here for a couple of minutes, I got really lucky and I saw one plane land. Then the dreaded security. I just made it through security, which was really efficient because there was a quite short line. And now I'm just going to be boarding the plane in a few minutes. The seats were on a firm side but fine for a domestic flight. The legroom was a bit cramped, but more than enough for any domestic flight within Japan, especially this 2-hour flight. What's nice is they do provide an electrical outlet. Finally, it was time to get into the air.
Attention all passengers, we will be taking off shortly. Please make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened.
Once in the air, the flight attendants came around with drink service, and I was disappointed there was no small snack like a little bag of rice crackers. However, it wasn't too big of a deal, because the flight went by so quickly, and it was almost time to land.
Passengers, we are making our final approach. Please securely fasten your seatbelts. We have landed at Chitose Airport. We will arrive at gate number 12. Please make sure to keep your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft stops completely in the seatbelt sign off. Please take care of yourself and we hope you have a pleasant stay here in Hokkaido. Thank you.
Then a few minutes later we reached the baggage carousel as it was only a short walk off the plane. I was really impressed with the luggage collecting process as everyone was very orderly when picking their bag up, and from the time the first bag came out to the time the last person left the area, it was only 5 minutes. Then I dropped my luggage off at these coin lockers which are throughout the airport. Then it was off to lunch, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the best airport I've ever gone to. It's completely different, and there's so many food options and even a shopping mall, but I decided to head to their ramen street, which is this area full of like 20 ramen shops. I decided to check out this shop, which is known for their miso ramen, as miso ramen is a Hokkaido specialty. I ordered their most popular ramen, which is made with whey-fed pork, and they give you a choice between getting white miso and red miso, so I decided to go for the red miso. The ramen just came out, and it looks and smells incredible. I already smell that rich, meaty smell, and I'm pretty impressed because they give you a generous amount of pork. I also really love the price of the ramen. It's only 1,300 yen, which is around maybe $9 or $10. As with any ramen, you gotta start by trying the rich broth. Ooh, that is powerful. It's just a flavor bomb. It's so salty and rich and porky, and you really do get that earthy miso flavor. That is quite addicting, but you gotta drink a lot of water with this because it is a little bit on the salty side. Now let's get a piece of this pork. It's cut into generous slices. Juicy, rich, fatty, delicious sliced pork belly, topped with a little bit of fresh green onions for some crunch. Just a match made in heaven, and it definitely does go great with that broth. I just love how the saltiness of the broth goes with that meaty pork. And last but not least, let's go for a bite of our noodles. They look like thick-cut, wavy noodles. Love that. I prefer my ramen noodles to be a bit on the thick side, and they're definitely like that. They're really thick and curly, and they have a great, perfect two-some chew to it. And I love the rich, eggy flavor that goes along with it. And they also gave us some chili peppers on the side, so let's add some of that to the broth. I think that's gonna elevate it even more. That is perfect. They do have a spicy miso ramen on their menu, but they don't have the same cut of pork in there. It's a little bit different. So I love that they give you chilies, and you can make any ramen you want a little bit spicy. I love Ramen Alley here in Sapporo Airport. There's so many different options, but if you're here, this is definitely a great shop to stop by. I just love their ramen. It's really high quality, and I can't believe that this is my first time having ramen since I've been in Japan on this trip because it's been way too long. This is a great bowl of ramen. I'm really looking forward to this place that I just found. It's called Borin Cafe, and they sell Hokkaido milk ice cream. Look at this. They have milk ice cream made with Machimura farm milk. Alright, let's just go for this. They said it's farm-made ice cream, and this looks incredible. It just looks super pure and white and really creamy. Wow. That is unbelievable. I don't know whether I'm eating ice cream or frozen butter. The fat content in this ice cream is so much different. This is even better than the ice cream I had in Tokyo at that Hokkaido specialty shop. It's just so buttery and rich. This is why I always prefer milk ice cream over vanilla ice cream. Because there's no vanilla extract in here, it doesn't cover up any of the flavor of the milk. And just this tastes so rich and milky and creamy, which I love. Seriously, this is one of my favorite food combinations in Japan, getting a nice big hot bowl of steaming ramen for lunch and then following it up with soft serve right afterwards. And you don't even have to go into the city to try it, you can just get it at the airport, which I think is pretty amazing because both of these foods, both the ramen and this ice cream, taste equally as good as something you can find in the city. I just finished up my ice cream and that was incredible, but what I think is even more crazy is the price. The price is unbeatable. At the current conversion rate, it's only $3.37 for that one milk ice cream cone. So I think that's just a dream. I just love the new Chitose Airport here in Sapporo. It is huge, and not only is it an airport, it's basically a shopping mall because there's so many different businesses, restaurants, and dessert shops. The next place I checked out was Roy's Chocolate World, which is a major part of the mall. It's just this huge section full of chocolate. They have a factory here where they make all the chocolates, and this machine is making chocolate animals. I mean, seriously, you gotta love how detailed these animals are. Much of this factory is automated. Right here you can see some sticks for the candies rolling around a metal drum. Next, the robot precisely puts them in a tray, which I think is pretty cool. Finally, there's a machine that pipes melted chocolate into the trays to set along with the stick and the candy. I mean, seriously, this whole concept's pretty crazy. Where else in the world can you find a chocolate factory inside of an airport? At their store, I had to pick up one of my favorite treats to bring back home. These are dark chocolate covered potato chips, and they are so addicting. I also stopped by the store for their castella cakes, which are a popular Hokkaido confection. Then it was finally time to leave the airport to take the 1-hour train ride into Sapporo. It was pretty crazy to see how crowded the airport train station was. I will admit that I was slightly disappointed with the train. It was a lot older than I expected it to be, and for some reason, the windows seemed to be a little bit dirty. Either way, I tried to make the best of it to enjoy the journey into Sapporo, as I couldn't wait to start my trip in Hokkaido. After exiting the airport train, I had to transfer to the subway. It was a little hard to get around with all my luggage, but I was able to manage using elevators. This was the Namboku line train, which I would ride many more times on my trip. We finally made it here. This is the Chitose Hotel Sapporo. This is what our room looks like, so let's take a look inside. Right off here to the left, we have our closet. This should be enough room. And then right over here is the living room. We have 3 beds, 1, 2, and 3, so that should be plenty. We have a tiny TV right here, but I so far haven't used the TV in any of the hotel rooms, so that should be fine. And again, you already know the drill. Let's take a look at our view. And we have a lovely view of the surrounding industrial area, and that's pretty much what I expected. So this hotel doesn't come with a stunning view, but it is practical. Right here is our bathroom. Right here you have the sink area. It's not super big, but I'll have to use the area underneath. It's also for towels, and that should be enough. Right over here we have the fancy Japanese toilet, which is always a pleasure. And then over here we have our shower and bath, again combined together. All things considered, I think this hotel room is fairly decent. We're only paying about $128 a night, and compared to our other hotels, it's definitely a little bit of an older hotel, but I still feel like there's just enough room, so definitely good value here. The one thing I do like about this hotel is they have a laundry room. They have 2 dryers and 2 washers, so right now I'm doing all the laundry, and I decided to head to Lawson's, which is right across the street, and I picked up a snack. These are roasted onion potato chips, and I thought these looked pretty interesting. As soon as I opened this bag, I was just hit with this grilled onion scent. It almost reminds me of a smoky, charred onion, and they just look like regular potato chips. They're a little bit on the golden brown side though. These are definitely pretty addicting chips. They do sort of taste like the picture. It just tastes like a caramelized onion. It's really light and sweet and not a super strong or overwhelming onion flavor. These definitely make for a great snack, and this is something I would never find in the United States. I'll admit I just had a bit of a scare now because we had a pretty sizable earthquake. This definitely caught me off guard. Right as I was about to leave for dinner, we were hit with a pretty decent sized earthquake. This earthquake definitely caught me off guard. I am from California, but in recent times I haven't had too many earthquakes, although I did have another earthquake a couple of months ago, but it was pretty mild compared to this. Immediately I just felt the shaking, and at first it was quite subtle, so I just thought it was the subway train passing by, because I've definitely mistaken that in the past for earthquakes. But then it got pretty strong and I definitely knew it was an earthquake, and then my phone just started screeching an earthquake warning, so that kind of shocked me. But honestly, it wasn't too bad. However, it did concern me a bit because it lasted for a really long time. It honestly felt like it lasted a full minute. I'm also on the 9th floor of my hotel, so I was able to look out and I saw this antenna outside swaying, and it was just swaying back and forth to the point where I thought it might even snap. But luckily it didn't, and I don't think there's any issues with our hotel because everything seems to be in good order, and I did not hear any announcement from the hotel either. And this antenna straight out here is the one that was swaying a lot. The other bit of good news is in Japan, right after an earthquake, a lot of times people are nearby the ocean, and you really do have to be careful about a tsunami warning, but thankfully Sapporo is definitely way inland, so that is something you don't really need to worry about. I will keep aftershocks in mind, but it's only about a 10-minute streetcar ride over to dinner, so let's do that. We're going to be having soup curry, which is a Hokkaido specialty. I made it here to Soup Curry Suwagi, and I ordered their crispy chicken curry. And what I love is they let you customize it a lot. They let you choose your broth. I took their original. They also let you get your spiciness. I chose medium, which is their recommendation. And I also added on some additional toppings, which I love, because I really love to customize my food. My soup curry just came out, and it already smells incredible. It just has this really strong curry scent to it, and it smells a lot different than Indian curry. It just has this unique sort of spiciness to it. So let's just start off with the broth itself. Wow, that is so interesting. It almost reminds me of a cross between a Japanese curry and an Indian curry. It has some of similar spices in an Indian curry, but almost the mildness and the creaminess and richness of a Japanese curry. And it's just really fragrant. I think I might even taste a little bit of lemongrass in there. Let's go for the chicken, which is the main thing in here. I love that. It's just a juicy chicken thigh, and this is the perfect meal for tonight. Today it's a little bit colder, the weather is in the 60s, and this is just really warm and comforting. We also got thinly sliced pumpkin. That's perfectly cooked. It's just thinly sliced, and I really like how it's cooked. It tastes like it's baked, so it has this really nice caramelization to it and a bit of sweetness. I added roasted broccoli to mine, and it looks really nice and crispy. Just simply delicious, roasted and crispy on the outside, and it really goes great with the curry. The broccoli is a good addition. Since there's only a little bit of chicken in here, I wanted to add another meat, so I got the charcoal grilled lamb, and this just smells really strong and smoky. I gotta admit, the lamb is a bit on the chewy side, just the cut it is, but it is very tasty. It's really flavorful. Just as you chew it, you get little pieces of fat, as well as the lean meat also contrasting with that. So lots of rich and flavorful lamb flavor, and you really do get a bit of crust and charcoal taste on it, which is really nice. It also comes with this giant mushroom. It looks like a little clump of wild mushrooms. That is great, just a really nice, juicy, woodsy, earthy flavor. I also got lotus root in here, which is one of my favorite root vegetables. Probably is my favorite root vegetable. Delicious, it's perfectly cooked, and it's really nice and crunchy while still tasting cooked through. I love the flavor, and it's just really unique. It almost tastes like a cross between a potato and a carrot. Last item I got that's really notable is the deep fried mochi, which looks quite nice. Although it sat for a while, it still looks a little bit crispy on the very edges that didn't touch the soup. That is a must try when you're getting the soup curry. No matter which curry you order, you gotta get the deep fried mochi. That one bite I had a little bit of crispiness. You get this thin, light, airy crust surrounding the soft, sticky, chewy mochi, and you definitely want to eat that one first. That was seriously such a great dinner. It's a lot different than the other food that I've had on this trip, and if you're in Hokkaido, soup curry is definitely a food that's worth checking out. Today was another great adventure across Japan. It's kind of crazy to think I started the morning in Hiroshima, which is very south in terms of the geography of Japan, and then I ended up here in Sapporo, which is in the very north of Japan. I really enjoyed exploring new Chitose Airport in Sapporo. That is easily the best airport I've ever been to, just with all the shops there, all the food, and the whole experience was really positive there. It is not a normal airport or anything like I'm used to. Seriously, that soft serve I had at the new Chitose Airport, that is my new favorite soft serve of all time. That was just so buttery and rich, and you really could tell that it was farm fresh. Dinner was great as well. I really enjoyed that soup curry, and that's one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling, is to try the regional foods, because oftentimes they're a lot different than what you're expecting. Tomorrow I have a really cool day planned. For lunch I want to head to this place that is famous for their king crabs. It's this restaurant that is filled with tanks of giant king crabs, and I really want to try that. And then for dinner I have reservations for a Genghis Khan lamb restaurant. So basically they bring a grill out to your table and then you grill your lamb. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure if you did, give a like, and also make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.